With summer coming up, what are 2 things that you as a landlord or property manager should be doing right now to maximize your income and reduce your expenses? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the things that we're doing right now to make sure our tenants are taken care of this summer. One of these is going to help you maximize your income. The other one is going to help you reduce your expenses, and communicating well with your tenants while doing both of these is going to help ensure that you attract and retain the best tenants over the long term. First, you need to make sure that you're doing preventative maintenance and identifying any problems with your air conditioning units prior to the first hot day of summer. So when you're doing preventative maintenance on the HVAC, it's important to get a licensed HVAC repairman to come out and help do this with you. Some of the things you can do yourself, such as making sure that the return air filters are clean. It's important to communicate with your tenants on this one and get their buy-in so they're also regularly changing their air filters. One of the things to communicate to them is having those clean air filters is going to help reduce their energy bills over the long term by making sure that there's a very low barrier for airflow going through their system. The reason you're going to need a licensed HVAC technician is because one of the things to check are going to be the coolant levels in the HVAC system. But then there's several other things that they'll know to check that I don't know to check. Maybe you do, I don't know. But I would imagine they're going to clean condenser and evaporator coils. They're probably going to make sure that all the drains are clear. They're probably going to look for debris around the system, vacuum out any debris, check any belts or pulleys for the condition, and then lubricate any bearings that are in the HVAC unit. So all these things are going to help that very expensive system in your home last for as long as possible. Last but not least, it's going to be important to go ahead and cycle that system on prior to leaving to make sure that it actually gets cool. And this is going to be one of your biggest savings and one of the best ways to attract and retain good tenants, is because what normally happens is on that first hot day of summer and that first cold day of winter is when all my tenants go to turn on their AC or go to turn on their heat, and that's when they find out it's not working. So by going ahead and getting that maintenance scheduled sooner rather than later, if you do have something that's going to require a technician to fix on your HVAC unit or on your air conditioner or on your heating unit, by identifying that early is going to allow you to go ahead and schedule an HVAC technician prior to all of them getting super busy as the summer goes on or as it starts getting colder. So go ahead and get your preventative maintenance done, and then once you finish up your preventative maintenance, make sure that you go ahead and test the system, so if you do need to schedule somebody, you can do that before they all get booked up. That's the first thing. The second thing is mowing. So as the spring goes on and starts to get into summer, you have to look out for those nasty yards that people just let go. Because you, as the property owner, are going to be responsible if you get hit with a city mowing bill. So even though that lease says the tenant's responsible for mowing, there's 2 ways that you can handle this. One is the reactive way, and the other is the proactive way. And the proactive way is always better. So how do we do that with mowing? If we're reactive with mowing, what's going to happen? That tenant, their yard's going to get long. It's going to exceed whatever the city ordinance is, and the city's going to come out, the city's going to mow it, and they're going to hit you as the property owner with a big mowing bill, which then you're going to have to reactively pass on to your tenant. It's not good for anybody. It's a lose-lose situation. So how do we create a win-win situation out of this? First of all, go through all your properties and see whose yard looks like it may be needing a little bit of love. Then go ahead and generate a letter or a phone call and communicate to the tenant that you appreciate them, you value them, but their yard is getting pretty close to the city ordinance limits. Go ahead and reference the city ordinance in your letter that tells them what the limits are. Then also make sure to remind them of their responsibility in the lease to keep that yard mowed. Then offer them a win-win solution. Hey, instead of the city, in my case would be a $150 mowing bill, instead of the city charging $150, we can go ahead and get this mowed for you for and insert a better price. Creates a win-win situation. If they go ahead and book it, you can go ahead and schedule those mowings and maybe create a little bit of income in your property management business. And if they decide not to go with you, at least they get their yard mowed prior to the city hitting them with that ordinance. So one, cost savings by checking your HVAC units ahead of time, getting preventative maintenance conducted so you don't have those HVAC units break. And if they are going to break, identifying it prior to that first hot day of summer so you still have time to shop for prices on HVACs to get those fixed in a more cost-effective manner rather than a knee-jerk reaction and fixing them for whatever you get charged when summer starts getting hot and you got to get those things fixed for tenants. And the second, generating a little bit of income through some mowing income rather than creating lose-lose situations where the tenants get billed. So that sums up the two things you need to be doing before summer starts with your property management business. If you want a comprehensive but to the point course on how to manage your rental properties remotely, check out the link to my course below, which I call Managing Your Properties Remotely. It has everything you need to know from A to Z about how to manage your rental properties from afar. It's going to take you just over an hour to complete, a little bit longer if you go ahead and really dig into all the notes and written courseware that I included. But with probably a couple hours investment total, you'll be able to have everything you need to know about how to manage your rental properties. So check it out in the link down below. I may even include some coupons. I don't know. We'll see. But go ahead and check out that course and you'll have everything you need to manage your rental properties.